Hello and welcome back to more Ace Attorney Investigations, Miles Edgeworth. One last episode, I thought we're at the end of the case. I thought we'd come to the end, I thought we were finishing things up, but nope, apparently we still have an end section to get through. Perhaps multiple end sections to get through, so let's just see where this goes. Also, that lobby text isn't centered and it's annoying me. So now we know who the autographer really was, and yet there remains much to this case that needs to be resolved. Like how the weapons crossed country lines, for example. The two countries have incredibly strict security systems and entry procedures. So short of a miracle, it's impossible for someone to have smuggled them in. Smuggled them in, We will need to open a new line of investigation on just this aspect alone. But before we do, I would like to go through my evidence once more. Unnecessary evidence has been removed, remaining evidence has been rearranged. Hey, there's a VCR here, sir! Okay, what did we get rid of? I know we got rid of, but let's see what we have left. We have 3 pages, okay, it's a lot of stuff. We have the guide, notes on the body, the knife, and the key, this document, one of the 2 statues, counterfeit bills, Larry's broken spear, the no Deo statue, passion flowers, samurai dogs, interesting, the guitar pick, fountain spouts, photograph. I have no idea how this is going to come into play. It's because it can't. We know it's not it's. My immediate thought process is that this was used to move the body somehow, like that, because that's what it was in Bridge to Term. As that this method is what was used to move the body from one spot to another. Like they, got a catapult and just launched it across the embassy. I don't know if that would even be possible. We haven't found any evidence of a catapult or something, but that's about all I got right now. It's just that it was used to launch something like that. We have what else we got? Fires, wire. Revolving fireplace wall, hair sticks, trump card, and videotape. Okay. Now we can see what's on the tape Detective Bad gave us. This piece of evidence from the KG incident hidden from sight for 10 long years. I just know that this is related to this current case somehow. Detective Gumshoe, if you could please play the tape for us. Sure thing, sir! This man, it's Manny Cochin.
And he's holding a knife in his hand! This looks like footage from a security camera at the entrance of an apartment building.
An apartment building? How do you figure that?
Unlike you, I actually read the summary file on the KG8 incident, and the crime scene was the victim's own apartment.
So this footage was shot at the entrance to the victim's own apartment building?
At the trial, Mr. Faraday claimed that this piece of footage existed.
However, no one could find it.
Yes, somehow, someone was able to steal it and hide it through Mr. Ernesto Armano.
I can see how this would have been a definitive piece and why someone would want to hide it. But it's a piece of evidence from a 10-year-old case! There's no way it's related to this case we're working on now, sir! Actually, I believe it has everything to do with the case we're working on now. The ringleader even went so far as to use Mr. Portsman to retrieve it, which means that in this video lies a very inconvenient bit of footage to the ringleader. Where? Ooh, wait, what was that? Huh? That bit you played just now, please show it to me again. Oh, there's a flag on it! It's the Canopian flag, right? Look here, Gumshoe. Why is there a Canopian car here? This is the national flag of the Principality of Canopia, and because it has the national flag on it, we know this to be an official government car. But the question we should be asking ourselves is, what was the government car doing here?
Ah, Miss Von Karma and Mr. Edgeworth, so you were here all this time.
Ambassador Alba.
Thank you very much for continuing the investigation, even at this time of night. If only I was even a tiny bit more careful. This tragedy would never have happened. I'm truly sorry.
This wasn't your fault, sir. This has nothing to do with how careful you were.
You idiot, Kirkus. You couldn't trace after a simple thief. Now then, let's get down to the real reason why I keep looking for the 2 of you. I would like you to put the investigation on hold for a while. Can you do that?
Excuse me?
I heard you apprehended the thief that turned this embassy upside down, and we are in the middle of an event celebrating our country's reconciliation. We can't exactly have the police and detectives walking around here forever. You're scaring the visitors away. I hope you can understand how I feel.
But we must finish our investigation and resolve the remaining issues.
Why don't we leave the rest to the Albrechtine and Beverly's police?
Ambassador, we are so close, just a little more and...
Miss Von Karma, I'm afraid I've made up my mind. And without my permission, you can't proceed with your investigation anyway, right?
That's true, however.
As I said at the very beginning, this area can be considered to be Austrian soil, in which case we are nothing but foreigners in that land. Is this really where our investigation ends?
Sailor, fast radio, sir. Safer, that's right.
Oh my god, yeah, and that just when I thought I was done with you.
Yo.
Agent Lang, you're back on the scene rather quickly.
If I lay back and took a break, I'd lose a scent of my prey, Mr. Prosecutor.
Agent Lang, why have you returned?
Because I have to solve this case no matter what.
Well, I'm sorry to inform you. Don't take this the wrong way. I don't suspect you personally. However, a member of Interpol was just found to be a thief, and so... under these circumstances, I wish to put your investigation on hold. After all, I believe our own police can handle things from here. They are quite capable.
Oh, at this rate, our investigation will come to a close.
Ambassador Alba, I get it now. I really do.
Oh, I'm very glad you understand how I feel.
No, not that. What I was talking about is... I know who the killer is behind tonight's murder.
You.
No!
Ugh!
Killer?
Do you really mean that, Agent Lang?
Huh, wolves don't lie.
Then who is it?
Well, let me first say that I'm not talking about Mr. Cochin's murder. That was all Sheena. Lang Z says, the truth lies not at the exit, but rather shines outside the maze itself. The truth is unexpectedly simple. So let me ask you this. Who do you think demasked the second's killer? I'll tell you who. It was you, Francisca.
What? You picked her?
I was the killer? Hey, wait, but that's impossible!
Yeah! Oh, that weapon's cracking. You!
Hold your tongue in that ludicrous
Remark you had to make. Really? Out of the entire cast of characters, you picked her? You picked Von Karma? Really? That's the best you got? Come on, you gotta try a little harder than that, Lang. Agent Lang.
Yeah, I am.
He doesn't appear to be joking.
Hey, sis. I remember that just before Ambassador Alba was sent to give his speech, he called you into his office, right?
Yes, he did. What does that have to do with anything?
I'm getting to that. Furthermore, in order to solve both cases, you moved around rather freely between Albas and Babel, did you not?
And where is your evidence that I am the killer?
I was just getting to that.
Oh, really? Because you keep just getting to everything, and you never actually get to it.
Ambassador Alba, in order for me to bring this case to a close, I'll need to inspect your office one more time. Will you grant me permission?
With things as they are, I suppose.
Oh, well, you changed your tune rather quickly. Yeah, this guy's definitely the actual killer. Oh, don't investigate. You're about to catch me. Oh, you don't think it's me anymore? Oh, I mean, go ahead. I don't know.
Good, let's move out. Oh, and don't even think about running away, sis. My pack will be keeping a close eye on you. You can bet your bottom dollar on that.
As if I would have any reason to flee. But just so we're clear, your logic had better be sound.
It won't be.
Because I'll accept nothing short of a perfect explanation.
She seems rather upset, not that I blame her.
I expected you to accept no less, but we'll see how long you can keep up that nose of yours stuck up in the air like that.
Agent Lang, as someone related to tonight's case, I request you allow me to take part, and so that I may clean up my superior's mess.
I guess I should. The more the merrier, especially when it's the peanut gallery.
Oh, in that case I want to join in too! I still haven't seen what it looks like in Albast yet.
If you feel like hanging, you gotta let me in too, Pearl. I can't sit around and do nothing when Miss Von Karma's in trouble.
Hey, Gummy, let's have a competition to see who can save her first.
Not the time. Okay, I'll take you up with that. Not the time.
Oh yeah, I'm afraid I'm raring to go.
As a detective, I don't believe this is something you're supposed to be excited over.
Sounds like this is going to be real interesting. Ambassador Alba, I'll be bringing these kids along for the ride.
Very well, but I'd like you to keep in mind, this will be your last chance.
I'll have this whole mess cleaned up before you know it. Now let's go.
March 15th, 12:53 a.m. Austrian Embassy Ambassador's Office.
Okay, now let's go over the facts one more time. Manny Cochin's body was found over the Secretary's office in Babel. The weapon that took his life was one of Albast's own mental knives, and then the body of Damas II, Mr. Keisha knew. Okashinu, was found here in the Gabashin ambassador's office. Through our investigation, we found that the murder weapon was this primitive statue, and that this is actually a Babel statue. This case, no matter how we look at it, sis, if it wasn't you, then there's no one else who could have pulled this off.
Agent Lang, do you understand the full implications of what you are saying?
Of course I do, sis, and I'm serious. You were on the trail of smuggling and you wanted any evidence you could find. And so while people were distracted by the Yatagarasu's appearance, you snuck in here. That's when you two ran into each other. You and that other thief took advantage of the confusion from the fire.
Even if all that were true, how do you explain the movement of the weapons?
Don't worry, I plan to show that you're the culprit behind that too. You got permission to investigate both embassies at will, with that kind of free reign.
Hey now.
Hey now. Look, sis, I thought I already told you I'm messing around here. This case isn't directly tied to the smuggling ring, but Sheena certainly is tied to the smuggling ring.
He's right in saying that she is a member of the smuggling ring. However, the connection between this case and the ring, could it not be deeper than what any of us could imagine?
Let's get this ridiculous circus over with already.
Francisca, you need to calm down, because you only know the facts of the Albashian side of the case. I don't believe you can see the case as a whole and therefore solve it.
What?
But don't worry, I'm taking this seriously as well, and I will prove your innocence.
That's the only way to be, Mr. Prosecutor. But can you come up with anything else that can tie my hypothesis? Of course, your explanation has to solve the mystery of the moving weapons as well.
Of course, and I will. Let us now delve into the truth behind the murder of the Masked Second.
You do understand, don't you, Miles Edgeworth? This is just a confrontation against Agent Lang. If you can't figure out how the murder of Damascus II is related to the smuggling ring, then it will mean the end of our investigation.
The best I can do is walk the thin tightrope and see what I can do.
Come on, Mr. Prosecutor, let's get started.
Yes, let's. Okay, the battle against Agent Lang, the best character in the game. Yay.
One of our best knives is used in Babel to murder Mr. Kochin, and the murder weapon in the killing of Damascus II is Babel's primitive statue. Somehow these two objects were able to penetrate the two countries' impenetrable security.
Well, not only that, but also the other statue. So, you kind of forgot that one. So as long as I can't explain how the weapons were moved about, Francisco will remain a suspect.
You got it, Mr. Prosecutor, so why don't you stop giving me a hard time? Under the circumstances, who the heck can carry a weapon across country lines?
Well, you can't carry the statue. Like, this... Agent Lang, what I've learned from you just now is that you've lost sight of yourself.
What are you talking about?
By focusing too intently on on that which is in front of us, you will become blind to the truth. Don't tell me Langzy never said anything to that effect.
You, Prosecutor, who do you think you are speaking about Langsy's proverbs like that?
I don't need his proverbs, because my that's like, you wouldn't be able to carry these statues. Like, let me take a look. Where's... Oh, I have to... Here, let's go to the thing. I'm gonna show it to you in a second. That's not the one. I need to find the other one. These statues are massive. Like, a single human being can't carry these things. There's no way. So unless you get a team, and by the way, if you get a team of people, let's assume you have the manpower to actually physically lift these things. There's no way that they're gonna get, unless they hide it in something, like unless they have a wheelbarrow and they just throw cloth over the wheelbarrow. There's no way they would be able to hide it while they move it inside the building. So, how in the world would they have managed to get these things across the... Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a minute here. Wait a minute. I just had an idea. Okay. So, we established that this is a photo of something being flung across the gap. We hypothesized it would be the dead body. What if it was the statues? What if they used the statue? Or like, what if they... But how? Physically, how would that have been possible is my question. I have no idea. Like, okay, so they can just throw clothes on the statue to create the illusion of the picture. But how would they, like, where... They would have needed a catapult or something to get this thing across. But that's the only thing that makes sense. The only thing that makes sense. Anyway, I should probably actually show you the statue. Because how else would they have smuggled them in? How else would they have smuggled them in? Agent Lang, those two items are not the only two to cross the border tonight. Damascus II was killed with the Babel's Peru statue, yes. But if that was the case, then tell me, where did Abbas Prin with the statue go?
To Bevel.
Precisely, and if the two statues really switched, then this means that both statues were smuggled across the border at some point, which means that a total of 3 items were smuggled across the embassies.
I guess so, but you know what? It doesn't matter the number of items, only that Sis is the only one who could have done it.
You really think she would be able to lift these items, those statues, all by herself?
The only person who went back and forth between Ablaze and Bevel is her.
Is that really true? Was there no one else who traveled between the two countries? Actually, there was definitely another person. One who paid a visit to both sides of the wall. Is that really so, Agent 9?
What a lousy time to try and bluff your way out of this. I checked out what the guards said along with the security camera's footage. You're not going to overturn my hypothesis that easily.
But suppose there was some other way other than through the theater doors.
What other way?
The other entity that managed to cross the border unarmed, as I pointed out, it would open up a whole new possibility, and though I hesitate to bring this out, as long as this entity exists, the impossible road becomes a possibility.
So you got some clever idea in mind?
I do, but I can show it to you through a single piece of evidence.
Fine then. Let's see this piece of evidence that will show me this other route.
This piece of evidence will show us another way to move between the two countries. Agent Lang, I'm sure you are familiar with this unforgettable photo.
The supernatural photo, like I said before. Humans can't fly.
No, of course not. I understand that perfectly well.
And don't start claiming that Sheena somehow grew wings either.
I wouldn't dream of claiming that.
And I won't allow you to take back what you said earlier. I'll say it again. It's not humanly possible to fly through the air without wings. So you better have a good explanation for this, Mr. Prosecutor.
Oh. But how can I prove who it was that flew through the air with this photo? Wait, not humanly possible. Eureka! Very well. You will have your explanation.
It sounds like you have a good idea simmering inside that head of yours. Let's hear it. The face hidden within this photo's blurry, trailed shadow is the Albas Primadou statue. I keep missing the present button.
Naturally, the shadow was the third smuggled object, the Primadou statue replica.
You can't be serious.
The Adagarasu, or rather Callisto Yu dressed as Agent Sheena, was inside Babel. She dressed the replica statue up in clothes and launched it through the air.
Huh, Mr. Prosecutor. You left out a very crucial bit in your explanation.
I know I did.
She launched it through the air? Huh, and how exactly did she do that?
He's literally babbing his fangs at me. But he has a point. How exactly did it move through the air? I have no idea. As long as this remains unsolved, we won't be able to move any closer to the truth. Which reminds me, did you say this earlier?
Hey sis, I remember that just before Ambassador Ablaze went to give a speech. He called you in his office, right?
So just before the murder, Francisco was called here, right into this very room. If that's the case, then there might be another avenue I can pursue. Agent Lang, in order for me to answer that question, I will need to hear testimony from Miss Von Karma.
Oh, what are you up to now, pretty boy?
Earlier, you mentioned something of interest to me. You said that just before the murder occurred, Mr. Von Karma had been in this room because Ambassador Alba had called for her, and for that reason alone, you believe her to be the killer.
Yeah, I guess I did say something like that.
In that case,
How do you think your criminal will tell us the honest truth?
How dare you! As I've said numerous times, there's absolutely no proof that I am the killer. Miles Edgeworth, don't tell me you suspect me too.
I don't. However, I can't ignore the fact that you were in this room at one point in time, which is why I would like to hear about your movements in this room. Francisca, I felt that I still don't have enough information, which is why your testimony is incredibly important to the outcome of this case.
Alright, so what would you like me to talk about?
I'd like you to please testify to your movements in this room until the murder occurred.
Let's try this your way for a change. But if what she has to say turns out to be a waste of time, I'll place her under arrest faster than you can say how no.
As you wish. Okay. Movements in Albas.
As I said earlier, I was assigned a guardian in the Albastian embassy. After I saw the steel samurai off on his way towards the ambassador's office, I returned to the Rose Garden for a bit and checked up on the security situation. After all the preparations were in place, I was called back by Ambassador Alba to his office.
That's it? Can you tell me more about what you saw, what happened in the office? Francisco, I want us to make this clear from the very beginning. So what I wish to confirm is that the only time span in which you were in this office was before the murder occurred. Is that correct?
Yes, of course.
I see. For now, the only way that I can see for us to break out of the situation is to ask Francisca about her testimony in details. Okay. You still have not. I think you didn't tell me any. You did not tell me a single thing about what happened when you actually made it to the office. At the time, the Master Second's body needed to be found in this room. Is that correct?
That's right, but Ambassador Alba was here. One good...
Criminals say they didn't get getting arrested. I don't know you're not lying.
Well, if you need proof, I'd be happy to oblige you.
Seriously?
Like I keep telling you, when I arrived at this office, Ambassador Ablaze was already here. He was standing by the flower box on the windowsill, watering his plants.
You mean these plants? Where are they? Here they are. These 2 passion flowers. Alright then.
I remember speaking with the lovely lady around that time here in my office.
Alright then. Add that statement to your testimony. Let's hear some details.
So Ambassador Ablaze was in this room at the time, was he? Watering the flowers in the windowsill. Okay. Can you tell me anything? Is there anything else of interest that happened? For the sake of being thorough, I'd like to ask you something. How did you know that Ambassador Ablaze was watering his plant at the windowsill?
What do you mean by that?
The entrance to this room is on this side, however, the window is on the opposite side. If what you say is true, then when you entered the room, his body would have been like a wall. He would have been blocking your view of what he was doing, is that not correct?
I suppose it was a bit hard to see around him, but I knocked before I entered. As I did, he turned around to greet me, with a watering can in his hand. So it's only natural to believe he was watering his plants, right? I suppose. After his greeting, we spent a little time talking about his flowers. He had obtained them himself, and is growing them with the utmost care, you know.
Yes, the plants in this room are like my children.
The passion flowers in the flower box on the windowsill are growing beautifully, too. All 4 of them are in full...
4? You know, last time I checked, there aren't 4 in this photo. There are 2. Whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute! There's holes in there. Holes as if there were things there previously, but they were pulled up. Why would they have been pulled up? Wait, wait. Okay. The hair sticks. Okay. A long red line with a little yellow sonic ring at the top. Show me that thing. They look exactly the same. Okay. So what would be the point in doing this? What is the significance? I don't know the significance of that. So we're just gonna present, we're gonna point out the contradiction, and then we're gonna see where that goes from there. So what did you say just now?
I said that the flowers are growing beautifully. What about that statement do you not understand?
What do I not understand? I don't understand why a certain thing is the way that it is. I'd like for you to append that statement to your testimony.
Very well. There were 4 large passion flowers in full bloom in the flower box.
I say there were only 2 last time I checked. Francisca, for some odd reason, your testimony contradicts with this piece of evidence.
It does appear that way.
I knew it. I knew we couldn't trust your words, sis.
Mr. Edgeworth! What are you doing to scare...
No, I'm clear. I don't know where I'm going with this, but like, there's no reason for her to lie about that. It's such an insignificant detail that there's no reason she would have had to lie about that.
Yes, sir. If you keep this up, she's gonna get taken away, sir.
All I've done is state what I saw. I have not made a single mistake in my testimony. And for this, I am still under suspicion of murder. Is the number of flowers really all that important at this juncture, Miles?
At this very least, it is a contradiction in this enigmatic case. One that I find hard to dismiss as relevant.
Let's hear, Mr. Prosecutor. What's the number of flowers to do with anything? What does it prove?
I believe the answer to that will become clear if we were to examine that flower box. How did this contradiction come about? There must be something behind the discrepancy.
They're my beloved flowers. I have grown them with the utmost care. So I ask you please be gentle with them as you examine them, Mr. Edgeworth.
I understand. I won't listen until I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. Okay. Well, there's holes down here. The factual soil looks as though it has something removed from it.
What are you doing, Mr. Prosecutor? Why did you clam up all of a sudden? I'm still here, waiting for an explanation, you know.
Do you know, Agent Lang? Flowers are best appreciated in silence. It looks like 2 things were pulled out of this flower box. Okay, do I have to examine the flowers themselves? The name of these flowers are called passion flowers. Despite being called flowers, they're actually a species of vine. They appear to be growing well and are well supported by these plant supports.
Yeah, but no matter how I look at it, it looks like there's only 2 here to me. You realize, don't you, sis? Your little lie has failed you.
Miles Edgeworth, hurry up and shut this man up for me already.
I suppose I would need to use some evidence to shut him up. Well, let's show him the hair sticks.
Oh, you do you? You have such confidence in the face of your current plight, but I highly doubt it'll last until the end.
You know, you howl like a wolf, Agent Lang, but we'll see if you have any bite to back up that bark after you see the evidence. The truth the fashion flowers reveal can be seen in this piece of evidence. Sheena, who supposedly in Babel the entire time, had these hair sticks on her that look exactly like the plant supports on this flower box. In other words, I believe it can be said that these hair sticks are in actuality support sticks of the passion flowers.
Huh. And so what? Is that really all that important to the case?
Of course it is. It means that we found yet another item that was smuggled between the countries tonight. Think about it logically, Agent Lang. These sticks were originally in Albas, but somehow they wound up in Sheena's hands, who was in Babel the whole night. So make no mistake, these sticks were smuggled somehow, just like it's the knife and the statue.
Very well then. I want to hear from you exactly how they wound up in Babel.
How did these support sticks find their way to Babel and why? There must be some reason as why they ended up here. Haha, so that's why. Agent Lang, if you would please take a look at this and tell me its shape.
It's no stick, isn't it?
And so it is. So when they are used with something in this room, that's one of their something in this room. And the object that completes the picture was... What the Oh! The crossbow! It was used, it was like... It was an arrow for the crossbow. And it was a zip line. It was a zip line. That's what it was. So they shoot the... that's what the wire was for. That's what the wire was for. That's why it was... Okay. All right. So you launch an arrow across the... Yeah, you launch one of the hair stick arrows across the gap, right? What would be the point of that? And maybe it's okay. So, and maybe attached to the arrows, there's a wire on them, right? So then you tie the wire to something in this room, and then you use that, and then yeah, right. So like you use the. I'm explaining this horribly, but basically just is that you shoot the wire across the gap, the wire and the arrow across the gap. And then you string it up so that you can actually transfer the statue across it like a zip line. I think that explains it.
That's a crossbow. Wait, you're not really suggesting.
I am. These half sticks, or rather plant support sticks, that make for perfect arrows. I've done it. I found the common thread that connects the two offices, but the thread has yet to be completely untangled. Even using the arrows, how does this explain how the statues were transported? Furthermore, who could it have been had fired these sticks as arrows? There must be a common thread that ties all these things together.
Mr. Prosecutor, hold up a second. You do realize what happens when you tie a statue to an arrow, right? They don't fly at all.
Which is why I'm not suggesting. I never suggested that would be the thing. I never suggested that.
So Babel statue was draped in the other clothes and shot over here. If you fire the arrows on the side, they wouldn't go far with a statue tied to them.
Yeah, that's not what I'm suggesting, though.
You realize that's all, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that, you dweeb.
The primitive
statue didn't sprout wings. Of course they didn't.
Glad you understand. I feel much better already. I was afraid for a second you weren't aware of that crucial fact.
It's only crucial because you're under the belief that the wings are necessary to this equation.
What?
You need to free your mind a bit more and let it fly like a bird on the wind. The primitive statue flew. Allow me a bit of your time, and I'll explain this mysterious phenomenon to you. Okay. So, I'm not sure you quite understand what I have in mind here. But it's not that, I'll tell you that much. But we are in agreement that an arrow by itself would reach the other side, correct?
But just the arrow by itself is pretty meaningless, don't you think, Mr. Prosecutor? Because the things they wanted to smuggle were a lot bigger than nothing.
No, that's not necessarily true.
What?
What I need right now is not further discussion of my conclusions, it's the launching of my conclusions. What the shooter wanted to launch with the crossbow was not the statue themselves, but rather something a crossbow can launch that can be used to move the statues. And that would be... If it wasn't a statue, it launched the wire. It launched the wire. Finally we have reached this point in our discussion. For I present to you that which was carried by the arrow from the crossbow.
Huh. I get it now, Mr. Prosecutor. I can see exactly what you were trying to say. You're saying that the wire was tied to an arrow and then shot into Mr. Coachman's office. Yes! Yes, I am! All the way from the 5th floor of the Albastian Embassy down to the 3rd floor of the Babylese Embassy. Yep. If what you're claiming really what happened, I can see how that primitive statue can be moved. Gravity can be used to move the statue down to the wire from the 5th to the 3rd floor. But then what about Babel's primitive statue? The dark shadow in this photo clearly flying away from Babel. Going the opposite way of gravity from the 3rd floor to the Babylese Embassy, up to the 5th floor of the Albastian Embassy. How do you explain that? How can I explain? Oh, the fan! The fan! That makes perfect sense. Because like if you try to so if you
you can send 2 wires over there and make like a pulley system. And then you tie it to the fan, and the fan spins around, and the rotary motion of that causes both statues to be moved at the same time. I think that makes sense. Aha, I think I finally see how the gears behind this whole trick works. Agent Lang, the motion used behind this trick. I wonder if perhaps you have yet to envision how it works in your head.
Motion? What motion?
This is the motion. Rotary motion. I believe it was done via rotary motion. If the 2 statues were transported simultaneously.
Simultaneously? Get real. The statues would collide somewhere along the way.
Did I ever say that there was only one line of wire between the 2 officers? If you shot an arrow with the 2 ends of the wire tied to it, a circular belt can be formed.
Langsy says don't object and cause success what is beyond reasonability. Taking into account the tension with difference between the 2 wires, the top one would sag too much to the point where the statue would collide anyway.
Agent Lang, as you know, the Prosecutor statue is a one-of-a-kind national treasure, and the fact that Babel's statue is the hollow replica of the real statue, it would naturally be lighter than the real one, meaning that my idea is very possible.
Langsy says, how?
Here's what I believe happened. Miss Yu and a mystery co-conspirator sat themselves up in the 2 different rooms. The co-conspirator bridged the rooms by shooting the 2 ends of the wire down on one arrow. Then the 2 of them could uncover the statues and proceeded to transport the statues. After the switch was completed, another arrow was fired, carrying the other end of the wire down the Babel, where it was to be disposed of. And to do that, Miss Yu hid it inside the grandfather clock.
Huh.
Then I'm not the killer.
Not yet, sis. I still haven't had my dessert yet. Right, Mr. Prosecutor? The pudding is a nice dessert. So, you think you can do it? Can you prove that what you said is what happened? Because remember, if you can't, I'll be taking a certain stone back home with me as a souvenir.
I agree that as long as there is no proof, my hypothesis remains just that. However, what I've laid out is one more hypothesis, for there is one more piece of evidence.
One more? You think you have a piece of evidence that will turn your hypothesis into fact? Well, then let's see, Mr. Prosecutor.
The thing that made it possible to create a circular belt out of a length of wire, I believe that it is right here in this very room, and it is the ceiling fan. Boom!
Huh. Looks like you dropped under the bomb on us yet again.
The last piece to the trick are 2 pulleys.
Precisely, the ceiling fans double as pulleys in this case. And thanks to the fact that there is one installed in each of the offices, the ceiling fans made for the perfect pulley set for the wire to run on. This must be it. This is how the smugglers bypass the impenetrable security.
Girl, you really are something else, Mr. Prosecutor. I bet you figured it all out already, haven't you? You know who this big hotshot that set up the real-life stage show is, don't you?
The person who set up this rather large and complex stage show needs to be someone who had full knowledge of the existence of the ceiling fan in both the Obastion and Babylon's offices, and that the passion flower support stakes could be used as arrows. Who else behind this case?
Well, don't you dare make the wolf wait for his food.
Why are you so hesitant, Miles Edgeworth? If you can't say who it is, why don't you present something like you always do?
A single point of the finger here in this case will explode into an international incident. However, it's already too late for me to stop the forward momentum. It appears I have no choice now but to rush in. There's a piece of evidence that will point us to the Brian Master. Well, I mean, we can just use the passion flowers, right? Because he was watering those. So it ties it to. Wait, it's obviously Quercus alba. Smuggling could not have been possible without the use of the crossbow. Furthermore, the arrows that were shot by the crossbow were plucked, as it were, from the firebox in this very room. They were planted so long ago that the passion flowers took their time to grow so big that Miss Von Karma didn't even notice the arrows when she visited the room today. On top of all this, the fact that the culprit knew that both officers had ceiling fans tells us that the person had very detailed information on Amos's layout. So as you may have already guessed, the person I am accusing of hatching this plan is the person who grew the flowers in the flower box with the utmost care. Thus, it can only be you, Quercus alba.
Are you out of your mind, Miles Edgeworth?
I'm certain of what I am saying, and I am sure that he is the culprit.
So, Mr. Prosecutor, what was the ambassador trying to accomplish by doing all the stuff you just outlined? Why in the world would he need to use a trick like that?
I understand you need to doubt me. However, there is one thing that stands out to me as very odd.
Just one thing, huh?
The one single end result Master Alba sought to obtain. If you would examine the focus of this complete trick, I believe you will find the answer to everything. Everything will become clear once you examine. What would that be? Were something odd about the plan? What would that be? Oh, the statues. I know it all comes back to the statues, but that actually that makes. Oh, you know what? Yeah. Oh, you know. Wow. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So, if the one in Albas was the real one, not a fake, then why would he have swapped it out for a fake? I would fully understand the reasoning had the situation been reversed. However, to go through the trouble of swapping the real Primidu statue for the fake, I sense a very shady reason for such a bizarre action, and who better to ask for that reason than King Primidu himself?
I see. Ambassador will be examining statue now, with or without your permission.
What are we looking for here? We already know about the handprints. There's nothing odd there. I don't... Oh. That wasn't part of the plan. Okay. What are we looking for here? We can examine the sword. So let's just look at the... Okay, so let's look at... We can examine the head, the sword. So it's either the head or the sword. It's one of these things. With his sword drawn like that, there was an awe of valor and bravery on the King Primidu.
It was so cool standing like that with the sword stuck in the ground in front of him. They actually try and come up with some cool poses with a shuriken or something.
I'm seriously beginning to think that her real goal in life is to become a ninja.
Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, there isn't anything allowed about the sword, right?
No, not really. I suppose we should examine the different areas. Well, the only other thing that we can see that we could even examine is the head.
This guy looks like the Steel Samurai, don't you think? It is because they look alike that he was picked to be the Goodwill Ambassador.
I suppose that's possible. Take a look at this area around the base of his neck. It looks like a gap.
Hey, you're right. Maybe it's meant to be some kind of secret?
Perhaps it's possible to open the statue of this gap in the construction.
What?
Hurry up and open it, Miles.
Alright, here goes.
Wow, it really did open up. Hey, what's the thing that fell out?
I believe a more thorough examination of it is required. Okay, well, let's examine it. What are the... Is this...
Hey, is this what I think it is?
It's a plate for making counterfeit bills.
Somehow, it appears that we've at long last arrived at the exit to this complex labyrinth. We'd finally hold within our hands one of the counterfeit money plates, and the reason why the replica was smuggled into Albus to begin with. Okay, now we're getting close to the truth. Now we are finally approaching the truth of this case. The Primitive statue can only be handled by the ambassador of the Secretariat, and the replica is nothing more than a hollow shell covered in gold. These two circumstances make the statue the ideal object in which to hide contraband. After receiving the statue containing this counterfeit plate from Sheena, the ambassador had the misfortune of accidentally running into Damaster II. Surprised by the thief, the ambassador raised the replica statue of Damaster II and... Then, in order to frame the Steel Samurai of the murder, he's covered the samurai sword in blood. Well, Ambassador Alba?
You're the leader of the smuggling ring? My country is a mess, and it's all because of you?
You're the one who killed the Master II?
Answer us.
I never thought you would figure things out to this level. However, there is one point I disagree with you on. The head of the smuggling ring was Mr. Cochin.
Uh-huh.
Quit screwing around. I have no sympathy for somebody who would try to pass the guilt onto a dead man. And there's one thing I'm sure of, it's that you're the real ringleader, Kirkus Alba.
It's not good to speak with such subjectivity.
Oh, shut the hell up.
My conclusion is anything but, and it is the result of logic and investigation.
Logic investigation?
Also funny coming from him because about 2 cases ago, he didn't even think that those things existed.
Only seconds ago, you're ready to arrest Miss Fun Karma. I don't think we can give such flip-floppy logic any real weight, do you?
It looks like you still don't get why I came back.
Excuse me?
You see, the reason I came back is so that, from the very beginning, my real target has been you.
It's lame. I demand an explanation.
Sorry, sis. I didn't mean to put you through all that. I knew you were innocent from the very beginning.
You did?
I knew that this whole incident had been meticulously planned and prepared for, so naturally the occupant of this room, Ambassador Alba, seemed the most suspicious. Without the ambassador's position, they couldn't get— Oh, bullshit! Bullshit! You thought that far ahead.
Ah, so that's why you put on this big show. Is ha ha ha, very funny. I know you think you're cute, but I was just pretending to be an idiot the whole time. Using Francisco as the bait, you were able to gain a century in investigative rights.
Yeah, if I hadn't done that, I doubt the ambassador would have given the okay to poke around.
That's what all this was very bad. Very well, I forgive you. But in exchange for making me his bait, you will take some responsibility and help us find the truth.
Agent Lang, for giving me such a great opening, I thank you.
But somehow if you were able to find some proof by investigating this room, then you would be able to figure out the real culprit with your special brand of logic.
Hey, the evidence detectives collect combined with the logic of a prosecutor, that's just as it should be on a prosecutor detective team, right?
I don't know about all that, but one thing I do know is that I'm itching to see that old man get what's coming to him.
Oh, you're quite scary when you want to be, aren't you?
Hey, you were the one who was planning to use me to push all to get onto the sis. Unfortunately for you, you misjudged.
All we need right now is evidence and proof. I wonder if you have what is necessary to prove that I am the head of the smuggling ring.
Don't be such a sore loser. If you really are the head of the smuggling ring, then you should acknowledge your crimes with dignity.
Dignity? That is nothing more than a full and sincere display of strength. If you really wish for me to acknowledge my crimes, then I would like to first see some of this thing you call evidence.
Grr.
I tell you, I knew nothing, really. I don't even know the counterfeit was hidden in the statue.
You swapped a real statue that vested in your country with that the authority to rule for fake. It doesn't make any sense that you didn't know anything.
Doesn't make sense. Why doesn't make sense? Can you prove it doesn't make sense?
He's really got us. He's turned the entire situation around against us.
Proof that Interpol has been after, which points to this man as the ringleader. If we can somehow find that proof now, then we can see to it that justice is finally served. There's nothing I can use to break this case wide open. The trump card and the videotape. With those two items, we might be able to finally bring this man down. But the card is evidence to a case that Mr. Faraday hid away in secret, and the tape was stolen by Detective Bad from the police. They're both illegal evidence. No matter what a protector of the law can't be allowed to use such pieces of evidence.
Needless to say, we Moncommers are commanded to achieve nothing but victory, and by any means necessary. The only way to bring someone like that to justice was to do so outside of the courts. That's what we thought at the time.
I no longer follow the path of Manfred von Karma, and I won't follow the path of the Yatagarasu. This leaves me with what? What creed will I believe in? If I want to pursue the truth, then I will sully my hands in illegality, and if I want to pursue justice, then I will lose the truth. What is the law, and what is justice? And which path is a prosecutor supposed to follow? That choice is what I must make by my own hand, here and now. Ambassador Alva, I wonder if you might recognize this.
Oh, I wonder what that card is. I've never seen that before in my life.
It's a directives card used by the leader of the ring to relay instructions to a subordinate.
Oh, is that what it is?
This card was sent to the real culprit behind the KGA incident 10 years ago, a man by the name of Mr. Manikochin.
Oh, so why do you have such a card in your possession?
Because it was hand-delivered to me by a certain great thief, the Yatagarasu.
The Yatagarasu gave that to you? Don't talk nonsense, and let's be serious, Mr. Edgeworth. Do you have any proof that this card contains directions from the ringleader?
I'll have you that this card is not the only thing I was given.
What?
The
KGA incident?
This card in the video. These two pieces of evidence are what will seal your fate.
Oh, very interesting. I must admit I'm very curious now. Very curious indeed, in these exciting pieces of evidence you presented.
The prey the Yatagarasu has been chasing all this time now stands before me. I can't allow this man, who has had free reign for 10 long years, to simply walk away. Now is the time for me to bring the fruition to the valiant spirit that was given to me. March 15, 134 in Theater Neutralis Lobby.
So what is the interesting thing you wanted to show me?
The trump card and the videotape. These two pieces of evidence will take for the ultimate hand, and this is where the real meaning behind Detective Bad's words will be realized. Detective Gumshoe.
Yes, sir!
What you see here is security footage shot just before the KGA murder occurred. From this footage, we know that the card is a director's card from the smuggling ring. This is the section that proves the card was used to read in order. Well, we have this exact same card. As you can see, Mr. Cochin is holding the card in his right hand.
I see. The killer is indeed holding a card with the exact same design on it. But that card and the one you have, just because they look the same, doesn't mean that they are, does it now?
Ah, but there is a very easy way for me to prove that they are in fact one and the same. All you have to do is simply take a look at this. Take a look at what? Oh! Blood! The blood stain. This dark red blood. Yes, this is your proof. Proof that the orders on this card were played out in that terrible tragedy. The blood belonged to the victim of the KG incident. With a bit of DNA testing, we can very easily verify that as fact. If you have no objections, then I'd like for you to take a look at this next piece of footage. This car that passed by in front of the victim's apartment building. It's an official Canadian government car. Detective Gumshoe, if you could please magnify the footage. Yep, there's the card. This side of the footage directly links to the smuggling ring with Canopia. The shape of this pocket and the director's card in it. It tells us that without a doubt this person in the car was the Cochin. The license plate on the car was also captured by the security camera, and with it we can easily find out who was sitting in this car on that day 10 years ago. Which is why I can say with confidence that you were riding in this car on that day. Ah.
You've done well, my boy, to make it this far.
Oh! Oh! Wait. Oh, there's the last bit of proof. The medal on his chest. The medal on his chest. Oh, you shouldn't have thrown off your cape, buddy. You shouldn't have thrown off your cape, buddy. We don't have it as evidence. Damn it. Oh, wait. Wait, no. No, wait. No, that was in the photo. The last thing they showed. The magnified version. In the reflection of the window. It showed that badge. That's the final proof right there.
That's going to be mighty difficult to prove.
How soon?
The Principality of Canopia no longer exists, so naturally all records from that time period also no longer exist.
That arrogance. What he really means is that he's already erased all traces of them.
Am I finished here, boy? The only weapon I have left now.
The only weapon I have left to me now is this piece of footage. There must be something. Yup, I can't. There it is, right there. Boop. Whoa, what the? Ambassador Alba.
Yes, what is it?
You was once an army man on the service of Canopia, and it was you who made the many missions you participated in successes, correct?
Why the sudden backhanded praises, boy? Although, to be sure, all the brilliant medals on me breasts were awarded to me during the area of Canopia. But now I am the only one who owns this particular medal.
In that case, the only person it could be who was sitting in this car is you.
How do you figure that?
It's clearly the same exact medal as the one on your chest.
Wah!
This is how it will be, but I won't look back. For this is the path that I have chosen.
You've moved me with your devotion to this case, Mr. Edgeworth.
Why are you taking such an arrogant stance with me?
It's almost looking impossible, isn't it? For a lot of you to have come this far. It looks like I just might lose our little game this time.
You might lose the game this time. You don't get another round, Mr. Ambassador.
Is that a fact? Very well.
You're going to confess.
And I will accept whatever punishment that may come as a result.
What the?
Regarding the mass murder, I admit it, I did it out of self-defense.
You're claiming that it was justified self-defense?
The mass assassin attacked me, and I felt that my life was in danger. If I hadn't done what I did, I might be the one you found dead instead of him.
What a pathetic performance.
I'm not giving you one.
Wow! Did you really know how to laugh at inappropriate times?
Oh, buddy, you just go back and see how often Miss you laughed. You should claim that it was justified self-defense. Then we would need some evidence.
It's always the evidence with you, isn't it?
It's always the evidence with you, isn't it? But if that's what you require, I'll prove it. The man left a mark on me when he attacked.
What?
I don't particularly want to show it off, but this is proof it was in self-defense.
But Mr. Mass Second didn't have a single weapon on his body.
Hold on, it's nothing to get worked up over because I hit the weapon.
You hit it?
I'm sorry, but as you know, a murder is a murder, even if it's in self-defense. And I couldn't let it become public, seeing as how I am an ambassador. And it is this weapon you seek, my special bonsai trimming shears.
Oh, it's covered in blood!
He was trembling quite badly during our struggle, but that's when he grabbed the shears that were sitting by my office and attacked. So you see, it was an act of self-defense.
Is you right, Mr. Edgeworth?
Since he has both a wound and the weapon that caused it, it's I'll have to clear it as so. Okay then.
No way!
Oh, which reminds me, I guess there is still one more accusation I need to resolve. Smuggling and counterfeiting. Unfortunately, all that is my secretary's doing. I had no knowledge it was going on.
Stop spewing nonsense. You're trying to throw my investigation under the bus in your desperation. If you want to get real honest, everything in this case can be connected to you.
The murder of the Master Second was done in self-defense. In my trials, no man escapes this crime alive.
Perhaps so if you were my opponent in court. However, there is one very important fact I think you may have forgotten.
And what is that? Ah!
That's what you mean. Extraterritoriality.
That's right. This embassy sits on what is effectively Albastian soil. Any trial that is to be held will be held in Albast. Therefore, the crime I just admitted to you will never be tried in your courts.
Agent Line, what is Interpol's stance on this?
Agents investigate, that's our job. The judgment of people who have confessed to their crimes, that's the court's job. Oh!
But I've already confessed to all my crimes, Agent Lang. Furthermore, by the very nature of my position, I have full extraterritorial rights. These rights are effective even on your country's soil. Therefore, no matter where a crime may take place, I will never stand on trial in one of your courts.
That arrogance and your expression is nothing like the face of someone who is ready to accept the consequences. Don't tell me you have your own country's judicial system eating right out of your hands.
These crimes you all speak of so seriously of. To me, this has all been nothing more than a game. You may chase me out of the embassy with your accusations, but it's no big deal. Albus has numerous other embassies in other countries around the world. All you would accomplish is you would change the backdrop of our little game.
These two layers of protection that extraterritorially provides him. This is why he is one of those who cannot be brought to court.
You see now, don't you? I live in a whole different world than you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go and fetch your eviction papers.
Oh, is there nothing we can do? Oh boy. Okay. I really hope the next episode is the finale. Not because that I want the game to end. Well, sort of. They're really dragging this case out. They're really dragging this case out. It feels like this should have ended a long time ago. But I guess we'll see. Alright, well, that'll be it for this episode, so thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode, and I'll catch you all tomorrow for some more Ace Attorney Investigations, Miles Edgeworth. Actually, wait, no, on Tuesday for more Ace Attorney Investigations, Miles Edgeworth. Goodbye.